Hello there, my friends. Chris Marcus here with you on Sunday, December 17th for Arcadia's weekly market wrap-up. As always, a fascinating week of life in today's financial and political markets. Certainly, Bitcoin and the cryptos continue to rise, stunning as usual, and we'll get to those in a moment. But to start off, a story I just saw a little while ago that I've been reporting on for the past couple of months, and then there was some question as to whether it was legitimate and whether they were going to go through. Yet here are the China regulators. Complete final drill in preparation for PetroYuan futures trading amid all the chatter of Venezuela and Russia potentially creating oil-backed cryptocurrencies. Huge news of China's launch of the PetroYuan has fallen off the front page until now because apparently on the Shanghai Futures Exchange they completed a fifth yuan-backed oil future contract trading drill successfully. So seems as if it is moving forward, which again talked before about the whole petrodollar, and certainly a big indication when one of the biggest trading partners is saying essentially we're leaving that system. So clues continue to emerge that the handwriting for the dollar is on the wall. Maybe I'm just imagining it, but these things are out there, continue to grow. And of course, why would other countries be wanting to leave the petrodollar? Well, here's a quick refresher. Federal Reserve's Evans, what's his first name? Yeah, Charles Evans, said he's the Chicago Federal Reserve president, and said he voted against the U.S. Central Bank's decision to lift interest rates this week because inflation was too low to justify an increase in the cost of borrowing money. So again, with this whopper that somehow the real problem is that things aren't expensive enough. And translation, when Mr. Evans is saying he's voting against raising interest rates, basically more on the side of printing money as opposed to ever undoing the printed money. And that's what the rest of the world, including Chinese and many other nations, are waking up to and realizing that as much as Chuck wants to look dangerous in his suit there and all concerned and worried, I mean, it's a Ponzi scheme. You can make it as impressive and fancy looking as you want, but this whole idea of printing money is being exposed rather quickly. And it doesn't matter in my opinion, again, if the story number one is accurate. The real opinion that's going to matter is how the counterparties, if they leave dollar system, which again, back to the cryptos, is what I believe exactly is happening, where not just here in the US, outside of the US, the world has finally been noticing how ridiculous this system is, and that's why you have an alternate system being created here. With money flowing in, you can see Bitcoin looked like it was over 19,000 a few hours ago. So Bitcoin price still near its all-time high. Litecoin, after quite a big week last week, traded a little lower. I think it hit as high as 330 or 340, then went back under 300 and now back over 300 again. So again, I'm not a big technical chart reading type trader, and really my training back professionally was in trading the order flow and really just thinking about why things make sense. So with that said, the fact that you do see pullbacks and then a lot of these cryptos just continue to keep going up, which what is perhaps the underlying fundamental reason there is that if we're still only around 1% adoption, and this is a system that can keep out Federal Reserve nonsense and low interest rates and actually give a legitimate, honest world where the people get to keep their money, the companies make some of their portion of money, and 99% isn't stolen through inflation, Well, again, that's why I'm involved in the cryptos, and as I see it as a bet against some of the current system. There's Populous at $43, Mizugo at $16, and one of my favorites down here, Veritasium, has had quite a rise, up at $280 right now. My last one, there's Salt at $9.64. So we'll keep going through those every week. Again, these are just some of the names that I look at the most, which is not a trading recommendation, but as I've done my own research, which we'll be sharing a bit more of in the future, but those are some of the ones I've liked and look at, and certainly worth further investigation. So, and just a couple more stories of why this is happening. Gave you my views, and here, interesting. Turkey's central bank admits Bitcoin is a threat to the global banking system. Well, of course it is. Could emphasize that Bitcoin could contribute to global financial stability. Eliminates the necessity of central entities and authorities within the network to settle transactions. Bitcoin is a monopoly run by protocol. Monopolies are often regulated to prevent, at least mitigate their abuse of power. See, the whole problem, and what we'll get to in one of the other last few stories coming up here, you'll hear a lot of central bankers and governors talk about the need for regulation and how it's going to be the wild, wild west and all heck is going to break loose. Which sounds, and in one hand, is completely makes sense. Yeah, nobody wants to get ripped off or have bad deals going on out there. Yet, what they omit is how the system that we've been living in is so corrupt and distorted because the guys who are doing the regulating, like the central banks or so many of these fraudulent agencies, well, it's like you have the fox guarding the hen house. I think I got that one right there, hopefully. So again, we can take a look. I thought it was interesting. Here is another story. German economist says there's strong reasons to regulate Bitcoin, but what's the problem is that if the person doing the regulating is on the take, you end up with a failing currency system like we're in now. Here you see, during a phone call, the German economist pointed out, with the cryptocurrency, payments can be made with little or no supervision, and implied that the cryptocurrency can be used for tax avoidance or financing of illegal activities. I challenge anyone to read G. Edward Griffin's The Creature from Jekyll Island, or even spend 10 minutes on YouTube or Google researching, again, not some of the things that I believe strongly the Fed gets involved in, but even just the things that they've been acknowledged being involved in. And it's just whose supervision do we or don't we want? And yeah, I think that people should have the money to, or the means to send money, whether it's to a family member or to someone they're doing business with, rather than having the Federal Reserve System, which has a shady track record at best, and certainly whether even their true intention is anywhere near the promoting, if their pledge is to promote economic and price stability, or price stability and full employment according to their mandate, that hasn't gone so well. In either case, but that's the general argument you're going to be hearing a lot about how it needs to be regulated. And personally, I think what will end up happening is the market will regulate this. Right now, there's people talking about BitConnect being not an honest operation. And that's, I've heard that from people that I trust, so I've steered clear of it. Again, if government regulation worked better, then perhaps we'd be counting on that. But again, what was it? Bernie Madoff, there was a guy that was reporting on everything he was doing long before, and the SEC just decided not to be too interested. So governments are going to attempt to regulate or shut down Bitcoin. The brilliant part is that the system has been designed so that there's nothing for them to shut down. Kind of reminds me of the end of Atlas Shrugged, where the bad guys want to destroy John Galt, yet need his help to operate the weapon. So we'll see how that one goes. And last story of the week is eBay seriously considering adding Bitcoin payments. I'm going to tell CCN I don't need that notification right now. So just another, we'll see how this goes. Certainly doesn't seem as if it's a done deal, but interesting to see the continued adoption, which at the end of the day, it's when you get that question of is it too late? Prices have already gone up quite a bit. So is this something that is worth investing money into? And obviously that's going to be a different decision for each person. Yet the biggest thing that I keep thinking about is that if we're still just crossing around that 1% adoption mark, if this technology is what we're going to be using, which it was why I continue to show the evidence of further adoption, then, well, if we're only at 1%, and then yes, and more people are going to be coming into the space, then I do see prices going further ahead. By the way, we do write about this in Arcadia's monthly market snapshot. December is about to be released, so if you go over to arcadiaeconomics.com, you can find that, which goes more deeply into all these things and just helps give you some good ideas of how to think about these things, what I'm looking at, and a lot of the things that I think people often don't see or not hear from mainstream media. So with that said, leave your comments below, hit that subscribe button, and we will see you again next week. Thank you so much.